Yo, what's up, Ron?
What's up? How you doing today, Zach?
I'm good. I'm good. I ain't getting no sleep, but I'm up.
I got a lot of sleep, not too much though.
I got to
Yeah.
catch a flight in the morning, so yeah, man,
Congratulations. Moving on
appreciate
up.
that. Yeah, trying to. So yeah. What's up
Well,
with
we
you
gonna
though?
like to man, just nothing much, just trying to be a man, you know what I'm saying? Living the life of a man.
So being a man, what's being a man? I want to
Uh
hear that from you.
well, before I tell you, let me basically welcome the audience. My name is Ronnie G,
For
and this is my
sure. I'm Zach.
co-host. And
Zach.
this is
Zach.
three wise men podcast, and we back for another episode number 8. And
For sure.
Zach, you asked me about what it is to be a man. Well, my my ideology, I think I messed that up, but basically just doing the right thing, being strong, taking care of family, setting a good example for people,
Okay.
having to deal with these situations we can't talk about, but we still got to go through them.
Yeah, I like that. Before I tell you what I think a man is, I can tell you what I thought it was growing up.
What you thought it was?
Man, I think we all believe something along the lines of the same stuff. Uh, Basically, how to be cool, how to
Yeah,
be the man of the time, man of the hour, however you want to call it. Uh, Walking the walk and talking the talk. Uh, what else? What else? How to school women, how to pull
yeah.
women, how to
You had to have a
manipulate,
you had to have a good car, or you had to have that truck, had to be clean all the time.
all the
You know what I'm
outward
saying?
appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically, like I wouldn't say player, but like being a player.
pretty much, pretty much. I mean, the guy you saw doing it, it was about what he had and and who was around him, that type of stuff. This
Hmm.
character, if you had charisma, you had one part of the game down, just like that.
Yeah.
So the role models, you were like, okay, that's the man right there. That's the man.
That's who you wanted to look at. That's who you were looking up to. That's who you wanted to be. And
For sure.
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, like that's what everybody thought it was. You had to be cool. You had to have a good job, or even if you didn't have a good job, you just had to work hard. You had to have money. You had
Yeah.
to have a good talk game. You had to
Hmm.
have a place to stay. You had to have a
Yeah,
sweet ride.
for sure. I mean, whether stuff was going on behind the scenes, if you could fake it till you made it, yeah, you had it. You were
Yeah,
still
pretty much.
considered the man. So we had a few people. We known a few people that was like that. Um,
Yeah,
Even you and I mutually knowing people. We ain't gonna
yeah,
put no
yeah.
names up there.
Just from
But
where we grew up at. Yeah,
so, but honestly, growing up with having those beliefs as a kid changed drastically as I got older. Um,
why don't
and
you? Well, tell me how it changed when you got older.
okay, I'll tell you. Yeah. I'll tell you more about what I thought it was. Growing up, of course, we all wanted to be like the people we thought was the man and looked up to. Um, there was people in the street, people out there, you experience, and then there's people, the men in our circles, like our fathers or uncles, people like that. You say, okay, yeah, that's a man. That's a man, but you also see this. It's the flashy
Hmm.
part, and then there's the one that handles responsibilities,
Right.
like a father. So sometimes you would see those roles contradict. You would see your father or whatever not looking so flashy. Maybe he come home looking beat down, hands greased up or whatever.
Hmm.
Hard day's work. You see the dude in the street, look like he probably been in the same spot all day, chilling, but he with his homies, he with his boys.
Yeah.
Look like he ain't got a care in the world, flashing. Yet somehow he stayed paid. So And I'm talking about one particular type person we saw as the man, but
Hmm.
the person that made it look effortless versus the man that like
Really had to put in the
he fought
work.
his hardest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like, who's really the man here? Who's really? Are they different types, or is one of them struggling? Is the other one? Did the other one have the formula? Figure out how to get it. So I definitely grew up trying to figure out where the middle ground was, or if there was a middle ground, or just trying to separate lies from truth. And so with that, I grew up making a lot of mistakes. You know, you
Yeah.
live and you learn type stuff. And I just remember making a fool of myself in many
Mm.
situations. Uh, being the class clown, you
Yeah.
know, if you weren't the smartest, certainly you could be the funniest. If you can get the crowd laughing and going, if you can control the crowd, that's one way of being the man.
Right. Right.
So black people, known for being funny and stuff,
Yeah.
laughing at pain. Um, one of our biggest defense mechanisms, one of our biggest antidotes, to our unique experiences and stuff like that. So yeah, it changed drastically. But before I answer what I think being a man is now, what was your early upbringing and what your early beliefs were like?
Um. Basically, from me, I guess I could say because I was raised a little differently than other kids probably was that I went to school or I just basically knew.
Mm,
Um. I guess you could say I was kind of sheltered a lot, so
mm,
I didn't really get a chance to get that outside experience that a lot of kids my age at that time was getting.
mm,
My whole thing was I saw my dad get up every morning at like 5 o'clock, leave the house no later than 6 to be to his job on time. And then
mm,
me and basically my little brother, we was going to school. We got dropped out of school by our mom, and then
mm,
she went to work. And far as like outside experiences, I really didn't have too many outside street experiences. So all I saw was basically like a bunch of men at church and doing
mm.
little events in the community. And if
Yeah,
I wasn't at church or I wasn't doing a community event or something, I was home and I had basically my dad and I had my uncle and I had my grandpa. And
yeah,
that's what I seen. And all I seen them do the whole time I was growing up was just working hard, taking care of us. You know,
hmm,
that's
yeah.
that's all I knew.
Understood. I
Yeah.
mean, see, that goes along with what I was saying. Seeing that side, seeing what a man is from the father, and how they carried out their day to day. Um, it's interesting though, just watching them because that's probably your first exposure to seeing what a man is, um, and how they do things.
Hmm.
So to go back to what I was talking about, growing up
Yeah.
and stuff, uh, just trying to be the best at everything. I think that's another thing I thought about. Uh, trying to be a man, or what I thought a man should be, just trying to be the best you could be. And I still think that to this day, just trying to be the best, being your best instead of trying to be better than somebody else.
Yeah, I
Um,
can agree.
Cause that comparative race thing, you'll get tired trying to do that. You try to make yourself into something that doesn't fit the way you were made. Um, yeah, you could be all around, but let's say you got a gift in this, you steady trying to push yourself towards this direction.
Yeah, you got a point on that. I
Yeah.
think we saw a lot of that kind of growing up too, like with
Mm,
the people that we were talking about, saying mutually that we kind of know from growing up.
mhm,
These were talented guys. These guys had talents
mhm,
and they chose a certain lifestyle because I guess it made them feel like, hey, I'm the man. I got a pocket full of money. I
yeah.
can go and do this when I get ready. I got all these, females and stuff.
Mhm,
But when you look at them now, it's like, where's your property?
mm,
Where's your land? What did you get from doing all this? See, one thing about it, if you're gonna hustle, make sure that the hustle works for you. Don't let
mm,
it work for everybody else.
Yeah.
because the same person that was hustling, you look at me now, I got more than what you got, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm younger than you, but I kind of looked up to you when I was growing up because I thought you was the man.
Yeah. I mean, shoot.
Years later, you ain't got shit to show for everything that you did, but you was the number one man in it, right? So why are you still? Why haven't you elevated?
That's a good point. I mean, it's like our football team back in high school. We had a lot of talent, but we just couldn't put it together. We, game after game, we lost. We lost a lot.
We didn't have no
One
coaches.
and ones we got, I ain't no shade to any of them, but I don't know. I feel like they didn't utilize us the best way. Because if they had, they would have realized they had one of the best running backs
Ever.
ever,
Mm.
and they never gave him the ball. You know who I'm talking about?
I think I know who you're talking about, but refresh my memory.
Me, nigga, me. It would have been
Hey,
me, man. Instead, where did they have me? On the line.
and you're not built for the line, especially at that time. But I'm glad we're going this route because I'm gonna say something.
Hmm.
We were becoming men at that time, or we was trying to learn how to become basic men. A lot of times they said football, physical sports, stuff like that, it makes you a man. We used to hear that all the time in the locker room.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
you're gonna be a man today. But here's the thing though. We got on the football field, we put in 110% damn effort to do what they told us to do, but the results wasn't really nothing.
Hmm.
So was that really making us a man or making us a warrior? See, that's how I look at it. You could be a
Yeah.
warrior, but being a man and being a warrior are two different things. When
Oh
you
yeah.
become a warrior, you're prepared to fight, defend, all this stuff right here. As a
Hmm.
man, you have to learn how to fight, defend, take care, support, and love, conquer, all that. And I think for me, playing football really didn't make me a man.
Hmm.
I don't think a lot of that stuff really made me a man. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I know we kind of going off, but it's on the topic.
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you when I felt like I became a man versus where I'm at now. I don't know if you remember my auntie, um, but we had an auntie. She was never married, church going woman, filled with the Holy Spirit, great, great, great woman. Where I'm at right now is this is hers. She left this basically for me and my child and my ex-wife, you
Hmm.
know, and I feel like what when I became a man, it wasn't when I had my child. Having a child didn't make me a man. What made me a man was taking care of my auntie when she was going through the health issues that she had. You know what I'm saying? Because she passed away from having cancer,
Hmm.
and I would take her to her chemo appointments. It was like 2 or 3 times a week.
Hmm.
Um, I was like 19, 20, 21 or something like that,
Hmm.
and I couldn't hang out with my friends like I wanted to. I could, but taking her to her cancer appointments, and then we were leaving. We had to drive all the way to Savannah, so we got an hour drive back on 16, and we talking and stuff, and we was real close. She was almost like my big sister I never had, and
Hmm.
just seeing the condition that she would be in after chemo, I would feel bad if I leave to go chill with this what I'm saying, female, if I go hang out with the homies to drink or whatever. Like my auntie needs somebody here. So I would stop what I was doing. Or I would like not try to basically go do something else. I would commit to staying here and helping her. I would wash the dishes, I would sweep the floors, stuff that I know that she probably didn't have the energy to do because when you on those type of medications, you getting those type of s- things done to you, you know what I'm saying, with the treatment, it takes a lot out of you. So I feel like that's when I became a man because I had to learn how to put aside what I want to do far as basic pleasure and handle something that was supposed to be like a responsibility.
Hmm.
That's when I feel like I became a man.
Yeah. I agree. I can agree with that because there's been many times where I've had to make tough decisions, and it really it tested my character or made me reflect on my character. There's plenty of things we want to do, we feel like we can do, but when unexpected things pop up, you have to go back and say, "Hey, what should I really be doing?
Right.
Can this wait? Can it not wait?" Um, and what you did for your aunt definitely didn't go unnoticed. And I know that's something that honestly you can be proud of. That's
Yeah,
something.
because
Yeah.
I and not trying to cut you off, but yeah,
Mm,
because and I am proud of it because when I look at it, like it wasn't just only me. It
mm,
made you know what I'm saying because you already know that I got a brother and I have a cousin,
mhm,
and it made them to step up as well because they saw what I was doing, and I just know I could call my little brother right now, and he'll tell you like I'll call around and you be like, hey man, we just got finished with the football game on Friday night. We finna go here. Like,
mm.
yeah, I'm gonna go check on Auntie Thumb.
Yeah.
So after the games, instead of him going to hang out, he would come and check on Auntie Thumb. And same
Mm,
thing with basically with my cousin. If I
mm,
couldn't drive or take her to an appointment or something like that, he would take her. Now, my brother ended up kind of like moving, you know what I'm saying, off
mm.
around that time because he had a job opportunity and things of that nature, and we
Yeah.
supported him. But he called every day, more than once. And if he didn't get her, he would call me. I'm like, she doing chemo, and he would
Mhm.
check on her. If I couldn't take her, then you know what I'm saying. My cousin Mike could come. He'll take her and drive her. And you know he loved to drive. He drive
Yeah.
everywhere. He always traveling. So it wasn't nothing. So she had the support because, like I said,
Mm.
she didn't have any kids. She didn't have any kids at all. So
Okay.
she looked at us as basically all of her kids. And like I said,
Mhm,
my other cousin, she wasn't old enough to drive at the time, but she was still able to support. She would call and stuff. But like, yeah,
mm,
um, I think situations like that people go through. And like I said, I wasn't trying to let everybody know. Like I don't tell people I did that for her because I want
mm,
some kind of like recognition or accreditation.
mhm.
I feel like as a man, you just know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So when we look at all these, like who I am now, I feel like I'm a decent man. I really do. I feel like I'm a good man right now, but I'm
Mhm.
still trying to strive to be better
Yeah. I like
because
that.
I have a child now, and
Yeah.
even though I'm not married, I
Mhm,
can basically date and all that. I have a child and I have a daughter, so I have to make sure that I'm. And this is probably what really I'm trying not to curse, but fuck it. Nowadays, you got a lot of people thinking that to be a man, like you was explaining earlier, you got to have the cars, you got to have the money, you got to have the talk game and all that. That's
mhm,
good, but when you got a daughter, you just can't bring everybody up around you,
mhm.
men and women.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a group of homeboys. I don't have a group of them. I got a friend that I grew up with, went to school with. We still cool to this day. He the
Mm.
godfather of my child. His wife is the godmother of my child.
That's
You
what's
know what
up.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just looking at everything that I had to go through to where I'm at basically right now, I
Mm.
feel like that made me a man. I didn't have all of that stuff, cars and all that, but I still did what I did for my auntie.
Okay.
And when you look at a lot of these other men at the time, I'm sitting in the hospital in the waiting room waiting for her to get her stuff done or whatever. You see these guys basically walk around, they on Facebook posting pictures of the slabs and the donks and all this and all that. That's
Mhm,
cool. But, you know, I think for me, it was more like that situation helped me to understand, like, as a man, it's more than just what you can do far as with financial situations and stuff like that.
mhm.
a lot of times, and I know a lot of people hate to say it, but being a man, you got to be you got to be tuned in with your emotions too, especially if you got a little girl. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's the critique part, cause they say men don't cry and men ain't supposed to do. That's bullshit. A real
Mm,
man gonna cry over something that affects him, because if he don't, that means that he wasn't affected. That means that he didn't give a damn.
mm, that's real. I mean, men men do need emotional intelligence. Like, how else are you going to convey your feelings? How else are you going to react to things? There are plenty of things in this life that'll get a rise out of us, make
Hmm.
us feel a certain type of way. Why we can't respond to it? Why we can't? We ain't always stone faced people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, God gave us the same amount of emotions as a woman.
Yeah.
Why we can't express it?
I mean, if you think about it, technically, going to the Bible, I ain't trying to do all this, but the
Mm,
woman was made out of a man's rib. So the emotions and the things that they do, where the hell you think it come from?
right.
It was in us.
Talk it.
So if it was in us and you took a piece of us to make, you know what I'm saying, them, then how can a man say, oh, if you cry, you ain't no man? Nah, that's not true. That's
Mm,
not true. You look
yeah,
at all these gangsters when they grandmas and stuff pass away. Don't the motherfuckers be in there crying?
they shed a tear. Yeah, many.
But they'll come back on the street though and they hard as hell and all that, but
Uh,
they still going, because at the end of the day, having emotion is a part of being a man. You cannot be a man and not understand all the facts of life. It's not just physical and like mental,
mm,
it's also emotional. But growing up, what was the thing they used to tell us that as a man when we were growing up? What they used to tell us? If you fall, you better not what?
you better not stay down.
Uh-huh. If you get hurt, you better not cry, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
man.
so going back to what you were saying, when did you okay, so when did you feel like you became a man?
Ooh. I'm a big person that I'm big on retrospective thought. So I think that realization didn't hit me until I had to go back and think about the things I've been through. Um, and it's not like I did something and it just hit me all of a sudden. Um, like in the act of doing something, kind of
Yeah,
like a rite of passage, like you said. After having your child, you said that didn't make you a man. Um, it was when I really thought about my life and what I had to go through, because I think part of becoming a man is it's defined by the choices we make. Like how you
mm,
made the choice to stick by your auntie and make sure she was good, you know, all the way to the very end. Uh, Learning to say no to the things that we feel like we should have in that moment. Um, Learning restraint, and
mm,
you know, like they say, love ain't just through satisfaction; it's through restraint. I say
right,
that for myself, even in my own relationships, and learning right from wrong, and not just learning what is right and what's wrong, but acting on that and standing on that. Whatever principles you got, stand on that stuff, even if it makes you look like the fool, even if it doesn't feel good. Just because you're doing something right doesn't mean it's always going to feel good.
right.
That makes sense. Um, so it's those hard lessons that really grind the rough edges about you. Okay, we got a question.
Yeah.
Have you had any failures that helped you grow as men? That's another thing. Part of being a man is,
You're gonna fail.
yeah, that part.
I think that's simple right there. Like one thing about it, and I I'm trying to stay on the subject and not bring other topics into this. But for an example, going back to Monty, when she passed
Mm,
away in 2019. I was already married, but
mm,
my marriage was very rocky. It was rocky to the point where I didn't, I couldn't be there for Monty as much as I wanted to because I'm trying to save, my marriage.
mm,
So I felt like I failed my auntie in her last kind of days, even though I was there and I didn't. But I
mm,
feel like that at times because I was so busy trying to fix my marriage. But
mm.
I feel like as a man, those are the type of things that we go through.
Yeah.
See, my auntie's in the process of passing away, or she's on her last basic stage. I wasn't expecting what happened between me and my ex-wife to happen at that time. So I
Mm,
got to deal with the anger of what she did, the sadness of my auntie, the pressure of I got to go to work, I got to pick up my child after daycare. I got to basically hope that this bitch gonna come home when she get off. You know
mm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then my auntie is going through what she going through, and I want to see, what I'm saying, her. But at that time, you couldn't bring children into the hospital like that and stuff, right?
Uh,
So it was just so much I do, and then it was like, it was just a lot. It was a lot. So I would say that part of being a man, you got to know how to fail and keep going. That's
oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's real. I mean, and learning from those failures, I think, don't just acknowledge that they were failures. There's always something you can take away from these hard lessons, these things that knock you down. Um, how do you come back up? How do you stand back up after getting knocked down? If you
Right.
cry, that's fine, but make sure you get back up. Whether the tears still falling, you better keep it moving. Because if
Yes,
not,
sir.
you're not a failure unless you quit.
Hey,
That's
can
how
you
I
say
think
that
about it.
again?
You're not a failure unless you quit.
Okay, then I
Unless you
like
stop
that.
trying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Clip
mean,
that, man. Everybody
hmm
watching this clip that you can put it on your little damn Facebook status if you want to. We don't care. But that what he just said, that's that's it. That's the key to it.
yes. I mean, and I have to replay that in my head, even at work. I feel like we be failing at work. Like me
Yeah.
as a as a leader, I'm like, how are we doing? Like you in the middle of the situation, it feels like chaos and turmoil, and you trying your best to maintain order and engagement from your associates. But sometimes you come out of it, you still feel like, what did I do tonight? What did I do right? Sometimes it takes an outside perspective to let you know that hey, you're doing a great job. You moving in the right direction. And so I get that confirmation from other people, especially managers and stuff. They tell
Right.
you, hey, we the number one shift right now. I said, how? When? What? How we get? They say, you. I mean, even when we didn't have any managers, that was a big reason why I didn't know how we were doing.
Right.
Who's running the numbers? I can only look at so many numbers and stuff. Uh, but it that was letting me know that uh, I was doing something right because something I tried to establish early on was doing the right thing, not cheating the numbers, not resorting to what I seen other leaders did
Right.
doing. The ones I looked up to, so to speak, I was like, okay. I said, if I'm gonna do this, which I don't want to do, because the role I'm in,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It,
said
it,
this is
it,
gonna
it
be
get
some
real
bull.
hectic. Hmm.
Yeah. And so I said, if I'm gonna do this, I want to do this on my own terms as much as I can anyway. And I want to do it the right way. And it's been so many nights, more nights of feeling like I lost for doing the right thing. And then finally seeing that it's put us in that number one spot and turned the whole facility around to
Right.
where we're like, we went from the red zone to like number two, number one in the region of our type of facility. When you hear
Well,
stuff
let me
like
ask
that,
you this.
yeah,
You're going to finish saying you said like we do
no,
stuff
you
like
good.
that.
It's a gratifying feeling,
Yeah, it
humbling.
is because I mean the amount of responsibility that's put on. particularly you, because I used to work there, so I know. And a lot
Yeah,
of that responsibility shouldn't be even be on you because that's not your role. I ain't gonna say no
yeah,
names or nothing like that,
for
but
sure.
we already know. But at the end of the day, who do you feel like in your life prepared you to become the man that you are now? Like, who did you look up to get
Mm.
this? Because I'm gonna say this right here, and there's no disrespect.
Mm.
You, from my perspective, you are one of the men I feel like you a great man. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? You a great
Mm.
man. You honest and you humble. You responsible. You honest. Um, you work hard all the time, and
Mm.
you help other people out too in the process of what you got going on.
Yeah,
So those particular traits that you have, who gave you those, or where did you pick that up from?
and I say the foundational stuff. My stepfather, he really showed me what being a man was, the unpopular sides
Yeah.
of being a man. The main thing I got from him was responsibility. Many days and nights I would see him come home and just looking defeated, or the pressures of the day just still on him.
Hmm.
And so and after, talking with him, many conversations about work and stuff and what he had to go through, that was it frightened me because I was like, is this what I'm gonna come to when and
Yeah.
then also I was like, he would tell me, focus on school, do what you gotta do so you don't have to be like this, you know. And I was like, okay, cool, cool. But when you get in those situations and it you can really get caught up in your situation,
You
and it
can.
makes you want to make an excuse. Be like, this is too hard. I should just give up and try something easier. And
Yeah.
I carried that mindset for a little minute, and only for that little minute, that's all it took to really derail me to where I am now. And I'm like, so I feel like I'm rebuilding. But to answer your question, to go back to that, yeah, my stepfather, for sure. Um, uh, there's other people too, but I'm gonna stick to that one.
Yeah. I feel
That
you.
responsibility weighed heavy on my mind with that question.
And I respect that because like I tell people all the time when they ask me why are you how you are, um I saw my dad every morning going to work regardless of what the situation was going on in the house and everything. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure you kind of know. But before it got to that rocky point between my parents, even when
Mm,
it was rocky, this
mm,
man never didn't go to work because he was pissed off or he was having a bad morning. You know, me, I'm gonna be honest. It's been days where I've been like, you know what, man, everything going left. I don't like, I'm not going to work. I don't want to deal with these people. But
I've been there.
he still went. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
And I look at my uncle. You know what I'm saying? Mike's daddy. Like
yeah.
the way that man he worked and he's in nursing, so he's on call.
Mr.
So this
Foreman.
man would be yeah, Mr. Foreman be working night shift. Big meats is
Ooh,
what we call him. We call him big meats.
look, man. We gotta talk about him. Shout out, Mr. Foreman. Mike, we gotta
Uncle
get Mike to
Mike, we
watch it.
got you on here finally, nigga.
Look, all right, now him in particular, he was the perfect spokesperson, like the perfect blend of what I thought in my mind was
A man
the
supposed to
man
be.
and a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he just moved with it. I said, oh man.
And I feel like for example, like I used to have a lot of my classmates be like, "Oh man, your daddy this and that," and my dad was a hard worker. I
Yeah,
mean, my mom had a new car every 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Me
yeah,
and my brother never went for nothing. Where we stayed at in you know what I'm saying, Portal, like a lot of
mm,
people weren't staying in that area
yeah,
besides, a specific kind. So to see my daddy and my basic uncle, and they
mm,
was present at the school all the time. That's another thing too. Um, my dad was a catalyst. and basically my work ethic because
Mhm.
that man he worked.
Yeah.
He worked. But my uncle was that's how I learned how to do like cutting the grass. Cause see, my dad was the type of person where we stayed in our neighborhood, people would come by and take pictures of your yard and put your yard in the newspaper for yard of the week and month and shit like that. So it
Mhm.
was like he was a hardworking man. He was and he did all that, but it's like he did some of the stuff that he did for like basic recognition.
Mhm.
Where my uncle, he did it because he had to do it. He didn't give a fuck who recognized him or not. His
Yeah.
kids got to eat. His wife got to eat. He got to
Yeah.
eat. They got to go to work. They need gas in the car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's real.
Mike Jr. was getting in trouble in school. This man was just been and got off and have to go to the school. You know what I'm saying?
Woo.
Stuff like that. You
Woo.
feel me?
I remember them
And
days.
yeah, so it's like that was my upbringing. So like even today, when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do as a man, he the first one getting on to me.
Yeah.
Cause see, my grandpa gone. But see, my grandpa was a catalyst too, because one thing about it, my grandpa took care of my mom, my uncle, and my auntie, and my
Mhm.
grandma. They always brought in other kids because my grandmother was she's real, you know what I'm saying? She's like everybody's grandma.
Mhm.
So she was raising other people's kids. I would come home from school like, who the hell is this little badass kid? Like
Mhm.
he eating my fudge round? You know, but that's just type of people. That's when I be, and that's when I started. That's why I am like I am now. Like whenever my daughter want to bring her friends from school and stuff like that,
Mhm.
I'm skeptical because of all the shit that's been going on. But I
Nah,
call the
man.
parents. I
Mhm.
call the parents. I let the parents know where I live at. You can come over and see where I'm at. This is how I'm getting down. So
Yeah.
you can so you can trust your child coming over here. I learned that from all of them.
Mhm.
So any type of fuck ups that I had, that
Mhm.
because I was just out there trying to do some shit.
Yeah.
But I had the actual blueprint on how to do everything the correct way.
Yeah. I like that. I'm gonna piggyback off the question you asked earlier because that was a good question. I'm still thinking on that now
Yeah.
about where did my qualities that you see now, where did they originate from? Who gave that to me? Um, and I'll touch up on the example you had with Adam and Eve. What women in your life contributed to the man you are now? What qualities you saw from the women in your life and who were involved in your upbringing? How did you what effect did they have on your manhood?
Mm. Well, that's easy for me because, like I
Mm,
say, I'm a family oriented person. We all been about
yeah,
family. So even
yeah,
some of my aunties that I don't see every day, but I see when I go to church or whatever,
mhm,
I would say I would, first of all, I gotta give my mom all the credit for who
shout
I
out to
am right
you,
now. And
shout out
I
to
ain't
you.
gonna lie, because without that woman, I wouldn't probably be sitting here right now.
About to say
Because
the same.
yeah, because she went through a divorce, right?
Mhm, yeah,
And her and my dad was together for like 20 plus years. And when she got a divorce and everything like that, she had to rebuild herself.
mhm,
It took her less than 2 years to get everything that we had. We was important
mhm.
by herself. I got a divorce, and I'm still trying to get what the hell I had before I got married.
You funny. I ain't trying to laugh at that.
But it's the truth though. So when I so my thing was, how did
Mhm,
you do it, Mom? See, my grandpa that passed away, the type of person that he was, and the type of person that my grandma is, they didn't let the failures keep on being failures. It's like you said
mhm.
earlier. The
Yeah,
failures, you know, if the only way you fail is if you quit, right?
yeah, yeah,
They taught them how to keep on going. So she was able to instill that into me and my brother. It don't
yeah.
matter how far you fall, get back up and keep going.
Keep
Because
it moving.
eventually you're gonna make it there. It may take you a while, but you're gonna get
Yeah. A
there.
lot
It
of
took
people
her
don't
two
believe that.
years because if you think about it, all right, in this generation now,
Mhm,
we're parents,
yeah,
and a lot of us is still learning.
mhm,
So we're the old school parents and stuff like that. They don't exist because you got the grandmas wanting to go out to the clubs now.
Oh, I
You
see.
feel me?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got the uncles wanting to damn go pull up to the college campus basketball games in the damn 2007 Cadillac Escalade and shit,
Uh,
trying to pick up a little YN. It's like, and then so you got all these other YNs looking at Unc like, oh, I want to be like Unc. But here's the thing though, Unc know damn well he should be doing this.
I'm stuck in the past.
Right.
That would.
Yeah. So my go back to your question. My mom was a catalyst in who I am. Not
Okay.
only did my dad and my uncle, my grandpa, help, but she was a big catalyst. A big catalyst. Without
Yeah,
her, I wouldn't be here right now.
yeah. And you know what? I mean, we part of being a man isn't just looking at your failures, but other people's failures and knowing to learn the lesson from their mistakes.
Right.
Like that makes you a wise man there. You don't have to
Yep.
go through that. So don't put yourself through that if you don't have to. You saving yourself a lot of time, hurt, and probably money too.
Yep. About to
Learn
say
it.
money.
What you think our parents and any other role models told us, don't do this, don't do that. They ain't just telling you to tell you that. Like they're speaking on their own failures, their own hard lessons. All right. They trying to spare you the loss because they may tell you what they lost in those situations, but
Right.
you will never truly know what they lost, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, all of that. So for anybody that's listening, heed the warnings that are given to you. All right. Because you never know what not listening will cost you. That
Exactly.
that's real.
Because at the end of the day, and I would tell anybody that's also listening too, like
Mm.
whenever you hear the term "I'm a man," step back and evaluate that person that's claiming to be a man.
Ooh,
It's
yeah.
not about what you have. It's not about what you got, but it's about your ability to still maintain integrity and respect at the end of the day.
Mm,
Because as men, even if you're not my wife, my girlfriend, or my daughter, if I see a woman in the street and she needs help, that's what we're here for.
mhm,
So you have to be able to interpret the decisions that you make. So, like Zach said, a lot of this stuff is learning experience. My household is different from the household I grew up in because I saw what happened in my household. I said I'm not gonna bring a lot of that to my household.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So, and just looking at certain opportunities, there's more opportunities out here now. Back in the day, my dad and my uncle probably didn't have the chance to take those opportunities because they had to work.
mhm,
But but nowadays, we able to work and still be able to access other opportunities.
yeah,
Don't get it confused. Being a man, you just got to be this hardcore, uh, basic idiot. You know what I'm saying? Um,
yeah,
you don't get it twisted. Like you just got to do this, do this. Um, this is what I tell people. In order to be a man, love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you ain't gonna know how to love anybody else.
mhm,
So make sure that you love yourself. If you going through something in your life, don't be afraid to ask for help. A real
mhm,
man gonna ask for help. When they tell you men don't ask for help, that's bull crap. A man gonna ask for help, especially if he got something he gotta take care of. I don't care if it's his mama, if
oh,
it's grandma, or anybody. They gonna ask for it if they need it because at the end of the day, it doesn't make you less of a man to ask for assistance. That's why it's out here.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So and like I said, and for those who didn't have a good father figure or they didn't have a good, I guess, some type of image of a man, if you're still alive, you've seen plenty of good men. You just ain't paying attention because it's not your cup of tea.
mm,
A lot of y'all fooled up thinking that, Future is a real man.
mhm,
He might be a real man behind his music, you know what I'm saying? But if you're only basing off of what he's saying in his like basic all his basic rap songs and shit, if that's what you think a man post, nah, You you fucked up. Like,
see,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, Future is a representation of a misconception of men. Uh, being a man is not a finished product.
thank you.
It's a journey. Manhood. It's it's a guy on that journey being the best he can be, pushing his limits. Like when you think about your parents, you still, or like when you think about your father or any other role model you would consider a man, they're still learning. They're still developing themselves to the day they die.
Right.
So they and if they real with you, they'll tell you, hey, we still trying to get this thing right. And so it's a journey.
Yeah. Just don't be afraid to take the journey if you want to become a man. Because here's the thing. I know we said becoming a man. That's the title of our episode and stuff today. But what we should have said was just learning how to be a man. Because at the end of the day, you don't become a man overnight. You don't become a man over years.
Yeah,
Until the day that you go back in that ground, you still becoming a man. You still learning. It
yeah.
could be the way that my uncle talked to us. Now he talks to my daughter a whole different way. And I'm
Mm.
like,
That's funny, ain't
is you on drugs or something?
Uh,
Because if I would have done that at this particular time, I'd have been picking my teeth up from across the street.
I know
But
exactly what you
my
mean.
uncle said this: when you know better, you do better.
Ooh,
He
and that,
said, y'all was boys, but a lot of the stuff that when I disciplined y'all, you know, and his discipline was different from my dad's discipline. I got beat by my daddy every day for some shit. If I didn't make my bed, because he was military minded, which my uncle was
um,
military minded too. But my uncle was also he. It's like I'm not in the military no more. So and
mhm,
my son ain't in the military. So whenever Mikey would not fix his bed, he didn't have to worry about getting punished and all this and all that. He would get talked to.
yeah,
But me and my brother was getting punished for something simple. We didn't make our bed when we got up. It's a Saturday. We trying to watch Power Rangers, motherfucker, and eat
that's
cornflakes. Like anybody studying that damn bed. But that's how it was.
yeah,
Now you look at them now. My dad isn't that much of a disciplinarian.
mm,
He's easygoing. I be sometimes picking saying, man, this nigga soft. Same thing with Uncle Mike. Like, man, y'all done got soft. But it's not that. It's just the simple fact that, like you said, they're still learning. So they
yeah,
learned that it's a different way to discipline and parent and
yeah,
not have to do all this because yeah, it kept me and basically my brothers and cousins out of jail and stuff like that. But
mhm,
the way that they're teaching me how to be a father now to
mhm,
my daughter ain't gonna have to worry about nothing. And I
yeah,
appreciate that more than anything. I only expect my child maybe one time in her whole entire life.
yeah,
But just talking to her the same way that my uncle talks to me right now,
mhm,
it
yeah,
gets over easier. And then it makes me want to go, you know what, Uncle Mike was right. I'm finna go out here. I'm finna do this. I ain't finna
mhm,
let this destroy me. You know what I'm saying? He said I could do this. I'm gonna do this. So I give my daughter the same thing. And she go out there and she make me proud every day.
mhm. That's what's up. I mean, I'm thinking about that now. On our journey of becoming men, what are we passing on to the next generations? What are we giving to them to steer them in the right direction?
Right.
Like what are some things that you were doing, especially with your daughter? I know you named a couple already, but what's something that you felt the urgency to pass down to her? It ain't always father to son, it's just children in general. Cause
That's a good question, Zach.
yeah.
Damn. You got me thinking now.
It's
I
a good
think
topic.
one thing that I did pass down to my child, I basically learned from a lot of men in my life.
Mm,
I guess I guess I could say like not being afraid to ask for help
okay.
because yeah, I guess I could say not being afraid to ask for help. and you know what I'm saying, just being open minded
Mm,
and being honest. Because if you mess up and you tell me the truth, then I can deal with it a little bit easier, and I can
yeah,
explain to you why you shouldn't do this anymore. This is the best way to do this. So if it come again, they call me like, "Oh, your daughter doing this." Well, my daughter ain't gonna lie, so you know what I'm saying.
yeah.
So it's like it's easier to like discipline and everything like that. But yeah, I would say not being afraid to ask for help, being honest is something I passed down to her because that's what I learned. Becoming a man
Mm,
and still am learning now.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's been a hard lesson for me. Just yeah, just that honestly, because
This a good damn topic.
I'm saying that sometimes I'm at a loss for words, but
Yeah, me too,
this
because it's
shit,
like, what did I pass down to my child that I learned? And it's like, because she grows up around me and my family, you already know that basically my mom is still the same. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And even I will say that my stepdad, he's helped me a lot, especially when I was going through my divorce. Him and my uncle helped me a lot with learning
mm,
how to just let situations go and
yeah,
build back up. Because at the end of the day, I I messed myself up because of this divorce, right? And I go to jail. Who's gonna be there to take care of my child?
mm,
Or what father figure is she looking up to? And then some other man coming to my child like talking about me. No, hell no. So I feel like, yeah, like becoming a man, it's like you become a man every day that you wake up. You still learning how to become a man. I would say become a better man.
mm. That's
It's
real.
just yeah, because I mean, do you even become a man at the end of the day is another question. Because if
Mm,
you're still learning how to be a better man, are you even a man? Like you're a man, but like, are you? I guess you know what the definition of man needs to be talked about. We need to figure out what the definition of a man
yeah,
is, so
yeah,
we can really see, like you know, what I'm saying what people expect because we know what is basically they expect from us in everything. But
yeah,
you look at nowadays, you got a lot of men that's helping other men talk about problems. You
mm,
know what I'm saying? They helping with the mental health, and that was another thing too. Like all the assistance that we got, like nowadays for men, no man should be trying to neglect this child. If you got a child, listen, let me tell you, all you men out there that's watching this, if you got a child and you're not in your child's life because of whatever reason, you ain't no man.
mm,
You was not no man. There is too many opportunities out here nowadays for you to become a better person so you can deal with your child. Back then, our uncles and daddies didn't have all that. Our grandpas didn't have all that. But we learned from, you know what I'm saying, all of
mm,
them.
yeah,
So we learning from their mistakes on what not to do wrong. And we got somebody nowadays that can help us keep from doing wrong. Why the fuck is y'all still doing wrong?
mm. No excuse.
Like, come on with the bullshit. Need to stop. And I'm not trying to call nobody out on this episode, but as a man, it is so much, especially a black man. I'm gonna put a color to it. Any man in general, but a black man is even worse. And all the struggles and stuff that we have to go through every day. And you look at your uncle and your grandpa and all that, they probably was hustlers back in the day. But the reason why they not giving you the game is because they know that the game is lame.
Yeah,
You can do better than that. So I would just tell anybody, like, at the end of the day, know who you are
mm,
and you know what you want. And if you're gonna take advice from anybody, take advice from somebody who's already lost because they're
yeah,
gonna tell you how to keep from losing.
oh yeah,
If I lose and you ask me, hey bro, what you did to lose? Oh, I just move my piece this way. When you play the game, move the piece that way. I bet you win.
yeah,
That's what it needs to be.
mm-hmm.
That's what it needs to be. But it's hard though. It's
Yeah,
hard. It's
yeah,
hard being a man. It's very hard being a man. But certain things in life will make you or break you.
oh yeah,
And
for
what
sure.
I went through with my auntie, I feel like that made me a man over having my child. because
Mhm.
now I know how to be compassionate and hey, I ain't going with y'all this weekend. Finna take care of my family. Okay. That's what makes you a man when you can know how to say no too.
Yeah, man. Okay, we got 3 more minutes. I think we should use the rest of this time to come up with the best definition we got for what being a man is and uh, how to define it. You want me to start?
I'm gonna just say this right here. This just came to my head. A strong individual who's still trying every day.
Okay, I like that. I feel like you can't get too specific with it, and
Right.
so that generalized like that, yeah, easy.
Yeah.
And I can agree with that because that I can say I'm doing the same thing with that. That would be in my definition as well. Um, if I had to add anything to that, I would I would say for any man or any individual out there trying to become a man, and in that process, hold on, this question: if you could sum up being a man in one sentence, what would you say?
We just answered
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, yeah.
it.
So I'm gonna include that with what I was trying to say. But
Right.
uh, whoever, whatever you believe a man is, go for that. You know, life has a way of correcting any misbeliefs or misconceptions, disbeliefs, misconceptions you may have about it. And life has a way of humbling you if you
Hmm.
get beside yourself. So
Right.
as long as you honest with yourself and keep pushing and being the best you can be, your definition of what being a man and your identity of what a man is will start to align that way. And so, like I said, you ain't a failure unless you quit and give up on life. But have yourself some principles, things you
Yeah.
stand by at
Yeah.
your
Some
core.
morals and values.
That, yeah. So
If you know
that
your ass 55 years old, don't try to talk no 21-year-old.
back to that.
You know what I'm saying? Have some morals and
Yeah,
values. Like,
yeah,
your grandkids the same age as your damn girlfriend.
yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
All right,
And
bro.
and and that's not a good look. That's not a good look.
That might be the part two for that.
Yeah, we gotta do a part two on this. This is a good topic right here.
Oh, it is.
It
All right,
really is.
for sure, for sure. But yeah,
But
yeah.
I will tell everybody, like, just at the end of the day, don't stress so much on trying to become a man. Just try to become on being a better individual.
For sure.
Once you become a better individual, then you'll learn because being a man is so many different definitions. It's so many different definitions. The way that basic man was in the 1700s to the 1800s is a different dynamic. So
Hmm.
just understand your dynamic, understand your lane, and just continue to be a better person every day. And if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going through something, continue to watch our podcast because we're gonna give you all the answers to help you. It may be funny, we may talk a little trash, but at the end of the day, it's not to slander nobody. It's hard out here for anybody, a man or a woman.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, being a real man is the hardest thing you can ever do. So just focus on being a good individual.
Hmm. Yeah. And remember, we are men, but we're still learning. We still trying. So take any advice we give with a grain of salt, and just compare it to what you have going on in your life, and see if it measures up. That's all. We're not shoving this at you. We just
Right.
speaking on our lives and our experiences, hoping that it can reach and uh, help somebody else.
Because one day you could probably end up being a wise man like us.
But so, speaking of, we got casting calls for the third person. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Ron, it's been a pleasure, man. You got me thinking. I'm gonna hang up still thinking about this, but it's
Me
gonna
too,
most definitely
brother.
be better.
Me too. But hey, to everybody who was watching, we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Three Wise Men Podcast. PNS Studios,
For
Fat and
sure.
Spicy. They got an episode coming on sometime next week. Check them out too. They part of the
Definitely.
crew. And
Yeah.
we appreciate y'all. Again, I'm Ronnie G.
I'm Zach.
And this is Three
Peace.
Wise Men Podcast, and we out of here.
All right.